Hello and welcome to this pre-recorded session of our Workshop Wednesday Stay and Learn, which we held for our Year 5 parents on Wednesday the 24th of September. During this recording, I'll share with you the information that was shared during the session with parents in the canteen, a bit of background to our curriculum here at DBSJP before handing over to Mrs. Yates, who will talk about the lesson that was seen in Year 5 during the session. As a result of watching the session today, you will have a good understanding of how we deliver the UK curriculum here at DBSJP. We'll also be exploring the expectations of the Year 5 curriculum, and Mrs. Yates will talk through the focus of the writing lesson that was delivered by the teachers on the day. For those of you that are new to DBSJP or the UK curriculum, I'm going to give you some information about how and why we teach what we do. We've got a broad and balanced curriculum here, which is very much skills-based, but also blends knowledge-rich curriculum as well. For those of you familiar to the UAE already, you will know that the UK curriculum core subjects of English, Maths and Science are supplemented and complemented by our Arabic and Islamic provision for those learners too. We also have specialist teachers delivering music, French, PE and arts. These are really popular lessons amongst our students, and it's a great way to deliver some really high quality learning for the children in those different areas. Year on year, there's progression of both knowledge and skills, and those of you that are familiar with the IB curriculum will know that's very inquiry-led and project-based. We take elements of that and blend it with our UK curriculum. At the core of what we do is the UK national curriculum, but we have that flexibility, being here in the UAE, to look at a local context too. Over the course of your child's learning journey here at DBSJP, it's all about developing independence, resilience, and taking responsibility for their own learning, and I'll talk more about that later as well. So this is how we plan our curriculum. As I've mentioned, everything is rooted in the UK national curriculum. That gives us some very broad objectives. The statements are very broad, in fact. I could go from one UK school to another, and how the curriculum is delivered could be totally different, but the end goals remain the same. Here at DBSJP, we then map out a long-term plan. This covers the whole year. It will cover key topics that we want to deliver to the children and key areas of learning. This gets broken down to our curriculum maps, which the teachers use to plan week by week what they intend to cover. It's worth noting here, though, that as soon as the teacher begins teaching a lesson on a Monday morning, the rest of that week may need to be adapted. So the teachers will use ongoing assessment to identify those children that have successfully met objectives or those that need additional support or scaffolds, and subsequent lessons are then tweaked and edited as a result. For that reason, whilst the curriculum maps are our intention of what we aim to plan in the ideal world, they're constantly evolving and constantly being adapted. Our teachers have to reflect on what children have enjoyed about certain topics, concepts that they've grasped, or learning that they need maybe to consolidate, or misconceptions that need to be addressed. There is that flexibility for us to do that, so long as by the end of the academic year, those children have met those objectives that were mapped out in both the national curriculum and our long-term plan. Here at DBSJP, visible learning is a really important skill that we're developing with the children. This begins right down in Year 1, right through to Year 6. For us, it's about children having that independence and taking responsibility for their learning. The teachers give clear learning intentions of what the children can expect the lesson to look like. The success criteria guides children so they know what success looks like in that lesson, and they can self-evaluate their work against that success criteria at different checkpoints. We'll always encourage the children to take responsibility for their learning, and whilst the teacher or learning assistant are there to support, it's about the child taking ownership. What are they doing? What are their next steps? How have they been successful? What are their targets for that lesson or that unit of work? It's the role of the teacher to ask deeper thinking questions, and we encourage collaboration and reflection throughout the learning process. So I'm now going to hand over to Mrs. Yates, and she's going to talk more about what's special in Year 5.
So what's special about Year 5? So in Year 5, we start to develop much more depth in subjects. So we move away from surface level learning, and the students are reasoning, problem solving and thinking critically. We apply skills across subjects in more complex ways. So we might be applying a math skill such as measurement in a science investigation. We have inspiring and challenging topics, such as our space topic in Year 5, which the students are really enjoying and have lots and lots of questions about. We have lots of enrichment opportunities, such as our residentials and enterprise, to really broaden our students' experiences, and it's experiences that they remember. We develop independence and lifelong learning skills, such as resilience, perseverance, and ensuring the students are getting ready for Year 6 and developing those independent skills, such as organisation and leading their own learning. There's many student leadership opportunities as well in Year 5. We have our student council, and we also have MFL, sports leaders, art leaders, and many more leadership opportunities for our Year 5 students. So today's lesson was focusing on writing. So why does writing matter in Year 5? In Year 5, we really try and encourage the students to start to build sophistication in their writing. So using varied sentence structures, rich vocabulary, figurative language. We also encourage the students to start to write like an author and think like an author, and think about the language choices they're using that is going to impact the reader. We want the students to build stamina for extended writing, so they're writing for longer periods of time in the time given. Develop independence as writers, so the students have ownership over their writing. They plan their own pieces of writing. They decide what edits and improvements they are going to make in their own writing. We want to prepare the students for Year 6 and beyond, so they have that foundation within their writing that they can build on moving forward. And we also want the students to develop skills for editing and improving, which was actually the lesson focus during this Stay and Learn for Year 5. So what you'd see in the classroom today, the students were actually using AI to edit and improve an innovation paragraph. So they'd been writing their stories, their narratives. It was actually quest narratives that they were writing, and they were using an AI tool called Magic School to get feedback in order to edit and improve their pieces of writing that they'd started already. So in the lesson, the students were exploring the difference between editing and improving, and then, as I said, they were using Magic School to get feedback to improve their piece of writing. They were making edits and changes in their purple pens, and then going back to Magic School to get further feedback in order to further improve and extend their writing. So how would you get involved in the classroom? So in the lesson, it would be sitting with the students, questioning them about their learning today. So what are they learning? Why they're learning it, so they have a real understanding of the purpose. We encourage self-reflection and critical thinking, as we've already mentioned, and in the lessons we support the students in their editing choices and decisions, but ultimately we want them to take ownership over their writing and make those editing choices as themselves with support from the teacher. We always let the children lead their own learning, but we're there to support them if they need it. How can you help at home? So reading is so important. It really supports the writing process. It's where the students get all their initial ideas. So reading widely together with your students at home will really support them with their writing. Support writing like an author. So include features you explore when you're reading together. So picking out reasons why authors use certain language and certain features, and then they can think about how they're including those in their own pieces of writing. Encourage students to write for real purposes, so get them writing at home letters and emails and journals and things like that, so they're writing for real purposes in their own lives. Encourage talk before they write, so if the students can talk about what they're writing, it's going to make it so much easier for them to write their ideas down. Celebrate creativity and content, not just neatness. Handwriting and presentation is really important, but we don't want to take away from the creativity and content of the writing, which is actually the most important part. We've spoken about building writing stamina already, and also editing and improving we've also spoken a lot about, in order for the children to reflect on their writing and make those improvements and changes. Thank you for listening. I'm Laurie Yates and I'm the Assistant Head of Primary, and I look after Year 5 and 6. So if you need anything, please reach out.